Hey, welcome to Packaged Opinions. My name is Garrett King,
I'm Ash.
and this is episode 9. Today, we're going to cover several of the biggest headlines in the consumer goods and retail space. Ultimately, before we get there, though, let me just do a brief intro that we're doing every episode. I want to explain what the goal of this show is. One, we want to work on our own ability to become better strategists, analysts, marketers, business thinkers, etc. We're basically practicing in public and trying to show people how we're trying to do this and in a way that's informative and entertaining for you. The second is we're also trying to share some of the things that we've learned the hard way for people that maybe are in similar spots that we were earlier in our careers. I mean, Ashley, I think you probably would agree. We're trying to create the show that I wish I could have listened to in my early 20s.
Definitely. I needed help along the way and perspective. Today, I'm covering just kind of like a year-to-date snapshot of what's going on in CPG and marketing,
Very good.
and then how to think about that going forward.
Good deal. I'm going to try something new today, a new segment where we are going to review an earnings call from one of the large companies in this space. Today, it's going to be Campbell's, and we're going to talk about what their financial performance looked like and what we think it might mean or what trends we might be able to parse out of it, as well as trying to advise like a theoretical C-suite. Here's what you should take away, or here's what you should know for your own business. So we'll see how it goes. Cool. Okay. So first things first, are you back in Colorado?
Back in Colorado, yes. You might hear some thunderstorms. The weather wants to change every 5 minutes. And today I'm challenging myself to stand and walk all day. So I'm moving quite a bit. So sorry.
So this is what's driving the bouncing back and forth. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So question for you, because we haven't talked about it on the show since, can we get a brief recap of an assessment of Bali?
Bali is a must. So beautiful, chaotic because the tourism has just quadrupled over the past however many years. But it is beautiful. The people there are so nice. Everyone is just so happy. Like if you want a dopamine boost, go to Bali. If you want to heal, go to Bali. You want to relax, go to Bali. If you want to live a life of luxury, go to Bali.
Okay. And on this note, one, I'm glad to hear that. Two, you did almost all of your trip planning solely using TikTok, correct?
Mostly, yeah.
Give me the verdict. Did you find good places?
I did. I would say TikTok helped a lot with the spiritual experience piece. So it was a lot of like places that we wanted to go to, but also places we wanted to avoid because they looked crazy busy on TikTok. And then there were a few restaurants that were like, I would say mid, not like exceptional, like they were being talked about on TikTok. I would say mid. And then there are a few that were absolutely exceptional. And then we tried to leave some time for, local recos.
Very good. Okay. I think I was
Overall,
so
recommend using TikTok.
This confounded me so much when you told me this about your trip, about a month ago, that was one of the core things you were using to plan. Like, I didn't know. I'm old.
TikTok taught me, I use it for literally everything.
Oh my gosh. We are in the midst of a generational shift and I'm totally caught behind the 8 ball.
We are. We really are. We really are.
Okay. All right. So Bali confirmed good. TikTok confirmed useful.
Yeah. Bali,
Noted.
really long flight, but totally worth it.
Yeah. Where did you connect in Los Angeles or what do you do?
Denver to LA, LA to Taiwan, Taiwan to Bali.
Very good.
Then on the way home, Bali to Hong Kong to Taiwan to LA to Denver.
Hong Kong to Taipei to Los Angeles.
To Denver. It was rough. So long.
Yeah, that's rough. Okay. Well, good on you. And this was your first trip to Asia, correct?
It was, yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Enjoyed it.
Asia's wild.
It's wild. I thought of you a lot when I was in Hong Kong. I was like, because you liked China when you went and you loved it.
China to me I've only been to mainland China once, but I found it super fascinating and really, really just super interesting. I can't remember, maybe outside of New York City, I've never been in a more visually stimulating place. Like just everywhere you look, something is happening, often very strange. Yeah, I think maybe hard to live there. It would be hard to live there, but to visit, I thought mainland China was super cool. Yeah.
Hong Kong, I know it's different, but it felt very much like New York and Vegas mixed together.
Interesting. Huh. Yeah, I mean, I know it's far more Western than mainland China. I haven't been though. Yeah, so cool. Okay.
Any
Welcome
trips
back.
on your end coming up?
I got to go to Southern California a couple of times. Let's see. I want to go back to Texas soon for My family. Yeah, that'd be about it. So
Okay. All
I'm
right.
working on gardening. That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
I'm planting flowers. I'm doing it.
I fail every
It's hard.
year.
Well, look, proof will be in the pudding, but I spent far too much money at the nursery. I was there 2 times on Sunday. We're gonna find out.
Shit. Garrett's
I
at the
know.
nursery on the weekend. Here we
Grown
go.
man stuff, seriously. In my Toyota 4Runner. Yeah, so Anyway. All right,
All right.
let's hit this.
All right, I guess I'm jumping in. So year-to-date snapshot, what we're seeing so far from a marketing perspective in CPG. Again, Garrett mentioned it before, but kind of in the lens of if you were talking to your CMO, wanted to have a conversation about what the latest and greatest is and how to think about it in the future, this is what we would talk about. So number one being that value is winning. Not a surprise, right? Why are you laughing?
It's my first headline when I get to mine.
Is
Go
it?
on.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's not a surprise, right? The economic environment is challenging. People are trading down, wallets are getting tighter, but the expectation for a premium product is still there. And I think also the expectation of purpose is still there. So people are still resonating really well with a brand that stands for a mission, one that they can trust, and one that, again, lives by purpose. I think this is interesting for premium brands. If you are a premium brand, you are seeing leakage in the category. This is a long-term play, I think, for you. Curious your thoughts on that. But if you can really truly lean into your purpose-driven initiatives, once things start to turn around and people start to have a little bit more breathing room in financial matters, you're going to be the first one that comes to mind. So you might be leaking a little bit right now, but chances are you'll get them back in the future.
I think it's really interesting. I agree with it with only one caveat, and it's if the purpose is compelling. If it makes people feel something, then 100% absolutely. But I think over the last 10 or 15 years, a number of companies have tried purpose marketing and maybe not been that successful. You know what I mean? Like it hits different depending on the brand.
I think you're right. Yeah.
And so if it works and your purpose is good and you can tell the story well, hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that 100%. Number two on what we're seeing, retail media is the new tradesman. This
Wow.
one's an interesting topic and one that I think we could go into great detail on, right? Like just retail media in general has blown up over the past few years, but it is now, it's kind of cemented in its place. Amazon, Walmart, Instacart, it's now an expectation and a fundamental decision when investing into those retailers. It's not just a marketing play, it's truly a foundational and fundamental play. And I think it's up to companies to start thinking about it very dynamically of what can we get out of it incrementally from a media perspective, but also what does it help us do fundamentally? So Amazon, think shelf distribution or potentially some relationship building dynamics. There's a lot here that's wrapped up into retail media and other things to think about other than just incremental return. I'll pause and see what you think.
Concur, doctor. I totally agree.
Yeah. And I also think retailers are playing hardball. Like it's part of their requirements now. You have to spend in this space. Like I don't know that it's really an option in a lot of places anymore. Maybe it's in some of the smaller retailers, but some of the big ones, it's not really an option.
Is it right that retail media is the fastest growing piece of the advertising pie since search? It's gone the fastest and gotten the biggest out of anything since Google started monetizing search. So it's quite a big deal. It's a part of how these retailers operate. I'm so fascinated to see the direction that this thing goes because over the last 10 or 12 years, because I think 2011 or 2012 was the first one of these we ever saw with Amazon ads, right? So it's not like this is that old here in the States. Like we got a decade and change. The growth rate has been quite rapid in investment in retail media. Can it sustain that pace? And if so, for how long? And does that change how retailers approach operations with, their biggest partners? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's just so many different levers to pull within here, right? It is an ad platform. It does offer full funnel executions. So think brand building and conversion initiatives. It does have other benefits that are foundational to driving demand for your brand. I don't see it going away. I think it only gets bigger, but how long? I don't know.
They watch me do my best Scott Galloway impression. One of the most magical things about retail media, if not the most magical, is that not in addition to being right there at the point of purchase in a lot of cases, they sit on the rare earth minerals of the ads world, which is knowing whether somebody bought something or not. I mean, who else can do that? Like it's kind of a short list. So it's quite compelling.
Yeah, which feeds into this whole concept of retail media 3.0, which people are talking about. I don't know if you've heard this, but it is just that. It's like we've talked about ROAS, and then we've talked about incremental ROAS, and now we're talking about MTAs, multi-touch attributions. And truly, the level of data that's now available from some of these large providers. I mean, Amazon has AMC, which can give you years of data for one of the largest data sources out there, right? Like household penetration wise. Criteo, Circus Ad, Kroger. There's so many large platforms that have so many offerings and also give you the data to support it and really lean into storytelling and performance. So
It seems like you're bullish rather than bearish on retail media.
I'm always bullish on retail media.
Yeah, okay.
But it's definitely one to watch, right? And I think there's a lot of conversation around like, where does it fit? How should I think about it? How are other people thinking about it? And we can probably lean into that a little bit more, but definitely a topic of conversation in a marketing conversation with a CMO. Number three, private label has gone premium. Private label is also growing in a really big way. So keep your eyes on the competition in your space. Private label is going after some of the legacy brands, if you will. The brands are cheaper, they're moving with speed, they're innovating faster, and obviously they have better margins. Definitely something to pay attention to right now if you aren't already.
That business is so fascinating. And I think about, let me see what you think about this. The way I used to feel about Target's private label is the way that I feel a lot more retailers are steering the direction of their private label, i.e., not just the basics, but they're doing more than they ever have in terms of how premium it feels with these private brands. Do you agree?
I agree. And we talked about this with Target before, but Target definitely takes an even more unique approach in which they bring in small niche brands that you find in social media and make them their private label brands. So it attracts a different audience, but it also offers a layer of premiumization.
I completely agree. There were, I think early in you and I's career, it was so easy in most categories to identify a private label because it was the way more boring version of the packaging next to whatever the branded version was. Like, golly, I mean, I think about some of these categories and I mean, health, beauty, personal care, etc. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's just the white box version of that. You know what I mean? It's so bland. It's not that way anymore. And there's better storytelling, there's better colors and iconography. Anyway,
Sometimes it's hard to distinguish too. They're really just embedded in there and it's hard. I remember doing store walks like back in the day and we would get so upset when you would see just like a white box at eye level on shelf. You'd be like, why? Why is this here? I don't understand. So yes, flashback to early days.
can I momentarily segue and tell the private label Girl Scout cookie story?
Please.
Okay, good. So, all right. Once upon a time, an old coworker of Ashley and I's, her name was Jessie, and she was a former Girl Scout, right?
Yes.
Okay, so a retailer that will not be named launched a line of knockoff Girl Scout cookies. And just for like the price arbitrage, at the time, a box of Girl Scout cookies was probably $5. This retailer would charge, I believe, either $2 or $2.50 for it. So it was a significant discount. Now, what we didn't know was like, is it the exact same cookie? Is it a knockoff? What have you? Like, are they contracting with the same bakers? I don't know. So what we did was we did a blind taste test across the team. And this person was so adamant that they were going to be able to pick every single one. I'll know it. Don't worry. I've eaten tons of these cookies. Her success rate was under 50%. And the one that really got her, that made her so mad, was she did not correctly identify the proper Thin Mint.
Mm-hmm.
So that moment was when I was like, when was that? 2017? Yeah. I remember that moment vividly because it felt to me like, whoa, private label's getting more interesting.
For
And
sure.
it was prescient. So
Yeah. 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 I love that story. It's so good. And I won't go into the details, but she did get you back, I think, with some dog cookies or something, and you picked
yeah.
out differences there.
Nah, dude. Okay. She booby trapped a conference room in retribution for me, knowing that I'll eat anything.
Literally.
And it was like, that was right when like dog bakers were starting to make like nice looking cookies. She just left them on a paper plate in a meeting room that she knew I had a meeting in. And I ate one. And it was so bland. I was like, what was wrong with that cookie? And she said, well, it's for dogs.
I love the good old days. You always have to have
Yeah,
your
I
friends there.
totally agree. And you know what? I am happy to be the butt of the joke on things like that. That's a great story. I completely forgot that.
It is a good one. I love it.
Okay.
Okay, so getting back to year-to-date snapshots. Obviously, one, value is winning. Two, retail media discussions. It's a hot topic. Keep an eye on it. Three, private label is obviously growing and premiumizing. And to layer onto that too, like Target's doing it really well, Costco does it really well. Those are two places to look at for inspiration. And then four, AI is no longer a test, it's now embedded in a lot of operations and something that should be used as a tool to help you move faster. PDB content, leaning into personalization. Our shoppers are looking for more and more personalization. So a way to get there faster and deliver it with ease. It should be part of your infrastructure at this point, and something that you lean into, not try and fight off.
It's moving so fast.
Yeah.
And in that, I think a real competitive advantage for brands that are going to embrace it and find ways to use it and empower their.
I'm such a test and learn person. You know that. Like, I love results. Like, I'm just like, let's figure out how to do this differently and better and faster. And AI is super compelling in this space for the specific reason of personalization for me and PDP content. Like, you can just test, learn, develop with such speed that it's hard to say no to. And I think marketing is a place for it to succeed. There's other categories where it's like slowly coming to fruition, but marketing, forecasting, business operations, like, it's a no-brainer to me.
There's a lot here. You and I talked a couple of weeks ago about ChatGPT was your tool of choice versus some of the Perplexity, Claude, what have you. Do you still feel that way?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I think it's premium in its space.
One thing that I saw a video of the other day, which I have not tested yet, but Perplexity apparently was, and it was the guy that runs Riverside, like our podcast platform.
Mm.
On his YouTube channel, he posted a video about how good Perplexity had gotten at native integration with iOS on your phone and how many different things you could tell the voice assistant on Perplexity to do. And it was way better than Siri at executing something.
Interesting.
Like making a restaurant reservation or giving you directions to something like this. Like all the things that you wish Siri did and they promised back in 2011.
Yeah.
It was hitting maybe 40 or 50% of those. And it's a third party app. Like it was super impressive. I'll send you a link. So we could say something and then 2 weeks from now, something new and interesting will come up. It's crazy.
I'm a fan of anything that makes things easier.
Cool.
And there's a line in an article I saw recently, which I really liked. And it said, the winners are testing with purpose, not chasing hype. And I kind of liked that. So find where it fits best for you.
Small tests, iterative, moving quickly rather than just like, I don't know, following the herd is the right term, but like, oh, like I heard we should be doing this. Like, yeah. Makes sense to me.
Cool. Number 5, creator-led content is driving conversion. So consumers are, no surprise, your face, look at your face. No surprise, consumers are trusting people more than brands. They're looking for connection, and always on creators and partnerships and UGC are constantly outperforming the static ads that traditionally we've gravitated towards. And you're seeing a lot of companies lean into having creators as a full-time role. So licensing them for a year, having them be a part of their brand, their purpose, etc. Finding someone that really aligns with their brand that people trust, and creating an environment where people can come together as a community around your brand.
Dude, I'm so here for this. You're exactly right. My poker chips are completely all in at the center of the table in this. I think you just called out these last 2 things are the 2 biggest things in advertising right now. Or actually your last 3 things. Media through the retailer, artificial intelligence, the transition towards creators. I feel like I'm seeing a generational change. I mean, one tiny example, even a company like Apple is doing influencer deals with cool, trendy people in return for iPads. This is not small brands anymore. This is the biggest of the big. It's becoming more part of the strategy than ever for brands. And I want to hear everything else you have to say, but just like one paraphrased quote from my mentor, definitely my friend, Oren John, who I think is so capable at this. He said something in a YouTube video recently, which was, however big you think the creator ad spend business is, it's bigger and it's only going to get bigger. And I think he's right.
Yeah, I don't disagree. My question becomes, how big is big? And at what point do people stop trusting?
I got a fun one for you.
Ooh, I'm ready.
All right. So I was reading, let's see if this is true. I didn't fact check it, but I was reading the opinion section of the Wall Street Journal today, which like, look, whatever asterisks you want, but it was talking about the undermining of trust in our institutions and like asking the open-ended question, like, what do we trust anymore? And the amazing statistic was 31% of Americans trust the media. And Randomly enough, the complete inverse, 69% trust influencers, which is crazy to begin with. But I think we see, I mean, I use this word, I feel like I say generational every week in this damn show, but I think it's like a generational shift. Like, do people trust the newspapers and television and things like that near as much as they used to? I don't think so. And with these parasocial relationships that can develop with influencers and creators, etc., trust is different now. So I kind of buy it.
Yeah, and I think around trust and transparency, the creators who are very vulnerable and open with their opinions and their perspectives are going to win. But it's just so much easier to connect and create a bond with someone when it's like, face to face and you feel like you're a part of someone's everyday life. So for sure. And then I think what's interesting too is the TikTok style video is winning across all platforms. So video is key, will continue to be key. There's obviously a lot of experimentation across carousels, but video is still the native winner and it's being picked up on a lot of places. So YouTube Shorts, Reels, Amazon Posts, all mimicking the TikTok style. And then I think when you said generational change, I mean, this is how Gen Z prefers to shop. So Gen Z shops content, not channels. And if you want to be ready for the future, that's what you have to do.
I think this is the new TV.
It's the new TV. It is for me, at least.
I mean, how often do you watch cable?
I don't.
Yeah.
I
You ain't
turn my
alone.
TV on like once a month.
I mean, did you see Warner Brothers Discovery this week? Okay, so you may have heard a couple of weeks ago that they rebranded Max back to HBO Max.
Oh, I didn't hear that. That's interesting.
So 2 years ago, they got rid of the HBO, and then now they're back. They realized it was wrong. And then, this week, or maybe late last week, they announced that they're splitting the old HBO, like Warner Brothers business, and the old Discovery business into two companies 2 years after they made them one company. I think they've lost 60-ish% of their market cap since the merger. It's been a massive destruction in value. And no wonder television is not the business that people thought it was. Your TV's in the palm of your hand.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I think like in general, if you're leading a team in marketing, you are having discussions around what is working, what's not. There's some provocative questions that you should be asking yourself or asking your team that kind of fit into these buckets. One around retail media. Are we measuring incrementality? Are we still stuck in ROAS? And then I would even take that one step further to say, are we talking about MTAs? Maybe you're not ready for them yet, but have you talked about them? Do you know what they are? Do you know how to do it? I think that's going to be the true unlocker in the future of how you measure incrementality. And I wouldn't even say the future. I mean, it's now, but
what an interesting challenge it's going to be for C-suites, big and small companies, figuring out what the right level of technology and infrastructure they need to help make that a reality. Because like you got to hire different skill sets. Like you need different partners to help you do things like that. Like these business problems are different than we're used to.
Totally. You need people that are analytically heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're a perfect example. That type of work is not your skill set.
No,
Ornelas is many things. She ain't a data scientist.
I'm not a data scientist. I'm a visionary. I can tell you what I'm looking for and what I want and a strategist, but I am not a data scientist at all. It's not my strong suit. I'll tell you what I think we need, like what questions I want to answer. But yeah.
This generation of commerce seems to require more hand-holding across different types of expertise than it used to in the past. Like you got to have friends that are good at stuff that you're not good at all in order to win.
I don't want to get into org structure, but it kind of goes back into org structure. Like instead of calling your friends, how are you just merging into one? How are we becoming one? How are we building things that are relevant for a channel, not just a functional silo? We are going to touch every single part of this in the journey, right? You have creative, you have execution, you have retail, you have traditional marketing, you have analytics. There's everything that goes into one that then informs how a business is working and what direction we should be going in. So more so than calling a friend, it's like, how do you design and partner together to achieve a common goal?
Ever the optimist.
I think the next question is just around content. Like, how are you using it? Where can you use it? I'd say AI content specifically. Are you thinking about personalization? Have you thought about AI in your operation? And then brand and culture. Like, do you show up consistently across platforms? Do you have a purpose? Do you have a story? Are you fun? Are you connecting with your audience? Are you using your retail data to understand what your shoppers are looking for and innovate faster? Also leveraging AI. I think there's a lot of questions and low-hanging fruit that you can go after in today's marketing world. Why are you
So much.
smiling?
Just it's why people shop the way they shop, and figuring out how to reach them is just endlessly interesting to me. Like I just love this business. It's so fascinating. Yeah, go on.
I mean, how fast can we move? I think is the question. Like traditional CPG is slow, and that's not what the market needs right now or wants right now.
What was it? Cognitive cycles. The shorter you can make your organization's cognitive cycles to where like you think a thing or you have a hypothesis and then you execute it, you get your results back and you figure it out, the more collapsing you can do on that one. So the more, experiments you can run, the better you're going to get. Slow is sometimes good, but sometimes not.
Yeah, agree. And we have a plethora of data. Like use it. It's everywhere. Use it. More data than I've ever had at my fingertips, I would say. And it just keeps coming and it's almost like too much, but there's so much there to work with. So use it where you can, use it to your advantage. Anyway, that's it for me.
You just took all the gave the CMOs tons of gold. Let me try and give the operations guys some gold. Yeah. Okay. So first test run at this format. So I'm really keen to see not only what you think, Ashley, but also for any of our 3 listeners or whatever it is, like what they think too. Today, I want to cover the Q3 earnings call for Campbell Soup because I think there's some interesting stuff in there that uniquely highlights some of what's happening in the Western economy right now, how the American consumer is shopping. And I think I can also put a couple of fine points on how you might implement some of what we're seeing here into your own business strategies. First, let's hit some facts. I just want everybody to know some business trends. Number one, their net sales in Q3 was up 4% year over year. They hit $2.5 billion, but they were only 1% in terms of organic growth. So the delta between that 1 and 4% was driven mostly by their acquisition of Sovos brands. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Ultimately, like it's the pasta sauce company Rouse, if you're familiar with this. Pretty premium. Adjusted earning before interest and taxes was plus 2%. Their GAAP EBIT was down 35%. So a massive difference. And the reason is because they took a $150 million impairment charge on the value of the Snyder's of Hanover brand, the pretzel company, if you're familiar with it. One last big number. Their adjusted earnings per share is down 3% to 73 cents. They reaffirmed that their guidance for full year 2025, they still think they're going to hit it, but they do expect to land at the low end of that earnings per share range, which if they end up coming even further below that, Wall Street's going to flip and hate that. But anyway, you get my point. So I think I see a few trends in here. Any questions on the numbers first?
None yet.
All right. Number one, last week, we did a big old thing about Taco Bell and their fast food competitors. We have talked a bunch about restaurant prices, the struggles in the fast food category, etc. And I think we are now looking at the other side of that arbitrage because the home cooking trend continues. Campbell splits their business out into 2 big business units. Roughly 60% of their revenue comes in their meals and beverages business, and roughly 40% of their net sales comes in the snacks business. Get a load of the split on these growth trends. Meals and beverages was plus 15% year over year. Real nice growth clip. The snacks down 8%.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, it is a big delta. And I think, look, like the Rouse acquisition is going well for them, but still their soups business is the main driver of this thing. On the snack side, let's hit that really quick. I mentioned the $150 million impairment charge on the Snyder's Pretzels trademark. I'm not super familiar with trademark valuation, how that fits into a market cap, etc. But ultimately, to me, what it signifies, along with their consumption trends, is that, as well as snack brands like Goldfish, Late July, tortilla chips, these snack brands are not firing like they need them to. And when you read the language from their earnings call, there wasn't a lot of concrete intel on what the problem is or what they're going to do about it. So like they talk about volume and mix declines and consumer sentiment change, etc. They're not saying why they're having some issues in this snack business. And my thinking here is that in general, if you're in the business of not the healthiest foods, you might have some risk. I think Pepsi and Coca-Cola are great examples. No wonder Pepsi just spent $2 billion on Poppy, right? I mean, side note, I just tried 4 different varieties of the knockoff Liquid Death sodas. The Pepsi knockoff, the root beer knockoff, the Dr. Pepper knockoff, and the orange soda knockoff, and 2 of them are incredible. The Pepsi one, not that good. The orange soda one, okay. But the root beer and the Dr. Pepper one, fabulous. 10 calories.
Okay.
Like really good. I like it better than diet. Anyway, my point is,
Have you had a Poppy yet? I need to know.
I gotta do it. I'll go get one at the market on the way out.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, meals business, at home cooking is really, really healthy right now. And with all this economic uncertainty and the fact that this number doesn't even include tariff impact, I think we're gonna keep seeing anything that involves home cooking. I think they got a nice tailwind. You agree? So let's bank on that one. Number two, that snack business, salty, sweet, sugary beverages, etc. It makes me really nervous. Like if I'm advising a C-suite executive, I think there's risk associated with that piece of their whatever the portfolio is.
I don't disagree. I mean, the health, we talked about this a lot. The health trend still continues. It's here to stay. And I think also, the pressures of spending on extras, like people are taking it away. And then I think too, though, there has to be a way to win here because Oreo is still crushing it. So, and they're doing it through marketing, through creative content, through partnerships, etc. I'd be curious to know what their growth looks like, or even if it's growing. I'm pretty sure it is. But there's certain brands that are still winning in this space, and it has a lot to do with, I think, with connection and community.
You have just challenged me. I'm coming to next week's episode with a recap on what's going on with Oreo because let's find out whatever way it is we can, because I'm so in alignment with you that they have had so much fun with their marketing over the last few years. All these wacky flavors. We talked about this.
Yeah.
Has it resulted in business performance? Let's see if we can find out. So I'll come back next week on that one.
Okay. I'm also curious too, like the differences in brands and what's driving the decline. Like I imagine Goldfish is probably declining more than Lake July.
If I had to bet without, it doesn't parse it out into that level of detail, at least in the earnings filing for Q3, but my gut would be the same.
Yeah. Like there's parts of it that is snacking, like healthier snacking, that's still probably working.
On the continuum of how bad this is for me, like I think late July probably, well, but one of them's fried and one of them's baked. I don't know.
I don't know. Also, side note about Bali, too, really quick on this topic. Bali sells 25% less sugar Oreos.
So it's just like a
5% less sugar. Healthier option.
Do they clearly merchandise it as like a, how did they taste?
I mean, like an Oreo. Yeah. Anyway, okay, keep going.
What's up with all these other markets? You know, you get the Coca-Cola with the cane sugar. You get I mean, what are we doing?
I don't know. I don't know. But I'd like it to come this way. I want a healthier option.
Me too. Okay. All right. So I have a few recommendations for the C-suite for anybody based on what we see in this Campbell's earnings call. And you already hit my first one, which is value and convenience are the gangster plays right now. You called out value. I'm also trying to hit convenience. I think it is informing so many decisions. And with as much uncertainty as I think the average consumer has right now, tariff uncertainty, general economic sentiment, the fact that millions are now required to repay student loans that had been on the sidelines for several years since the pandemic, it doesn't take a stretch to think that there's disposable income that was in the marketplace and now it ain't. And when you combine that with the fact that costs have risen in a lot of cases and Chili's is able to give you a better deal than a Big Mac at McDonald's, remarkable. Clearly, there's multiple factors that are driving people staying at home and cooking. So that's the first thing. If you can steer towards value, you probably have, at least right now, you got a tailwind. Two, if you were in the business of empty calories or further on the continuum of healthy or not healthy towards not healthy, please take a hard look at your long-range category forecasts. Like, get your team really scrubbing them good, because I feel we keep getting really good examples of demand shifting away from this. And then three, I think what's old may be new again. Some of these legacy brands, we've talked about this, right? What did we do? We did Abercrombie like a month ago. Yeah, okay, now we're doing Campbell Soup. Legacy brands that offer you a more cost-effective way to feed or support your family, there is tailwind here too. So like, is there anything in your portfolio that fits that? I mean, I know we're swinging from soup to clothing, but look at the trend that Abercrombie has been on over the last 3 to 5 years, right? Abercrombie, what?
And rooting themselves in basics, which I think a lot of people can learn from.
That's a great point. This also makes me think of when we were talking about dupe culture a few weeks ago. Value, getting a deal. Dots are connecting. Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I have not purchased a Campbell Soup product in years. Have you? I'll say traditional Campbell's. I've probably purchased some of the other brands that they own.
To me, niche use cases, at least in terms of how we cook, a green bean casserole for Thanksgiving, you're going to probably use cream of mushroom soup, things like that. I do occasionally buy chips from Late July. Let's see. I do think Rouse pasta sauce is good, but yeah, in pure Campbell's brand, not often.
Yeah. I think they did a really good thing recently of sharing out how to use them in recipes. So like you don't just have to eat soup, you can use it in multiple different ways. I think that was smart of them because I do think Campbell soup plays heavy in recipes in some cases.
Yeah. Um, Casseroles, things like that. Yeah. And there's got to be a way to maybe bring this more full circle. Like our grocers have had a good handle on this, like how you communicate recipes and then show somebody all the ingredients that they need, and conveniently you can get them all right here. It makes me think that in pure play e-commerce, there's higher levels to reach in terms of like, here's this recipe and one click, put it all in your basket. I don't know. Unless somebody's already done it, I don't know.
Or like a grocery shoppable ad, I think is smart too. An easy way to build a basket, like you said. Okay.
Okay,
So they're up against some hard times right now.
I think so. They got one piece of their business, which is like 60% of their revenue, super healthy. Love the trends on that. Feels like everything is just green lights. And then they have their other side of the business, the snacks piece, which seems to be struggling. And it seems like there's larger forces at play. All right, you got anything else?
I think so. This one was
No.
fun. I liked it.
Okay, let me sign us off. Everybody, thank you for listening. This was episode 9 of Packaged Opinions. Just like me and Ashley always say, we are very open to feedback. We want to know what you think. And we're going to keep on chipping away at this and trying to make this more and more impactful for you. Let us know what you think because it'll help us get there faster. So,
Great. Let us know if there's anything you want us to dive into topic wise.
That
Oreos
too.
for sure, but
Yeah. Okay, so my action items, Oreo is on my list next week. Let's see what I can find out.
sounds good.
All right, nice work. Until next time, this has been Packaged Opinions, and we'll pick this up next week.
Yeah. Bye.